Today we will be testing the weighted Harrel Davis Quantile Estimator with AD Oscillator. But before we do, if you have not watched the first video on the channel and all the videos after that, you need to go do that now. Here at the Academy of Forex, we are building the best trading system possible as a team. There is also a link down below to sign up for Tradingview. You can save a little bit of money if you use the link below to sign up for your account. You can also find a link below to join us on Discord. Lastly, if you would like a list of all the indicators we have tested along with their win rates, but you aren't interested in watching all the videos on the channel, you can sign up for our $9 Patreon, and you will receive the complete list of indicators. We also would like to introduce our Patreon exclusive Discord channel. As a $9 Patreon, you will be invited to join an exclusive Discord channel where we will give you a list of winning indicators and links for the MT platform, give you winning strategies, post trade ideas, give advanced advice, and much more. So click the link below to join our Patreon. Alright, as I said, today we will be testing the weighted Harrel Davis Quantile Estimator with AD Oscillator. Before we do though, I wanted to put the testing scoreboard up for everyone to see. So to date, we have tested a total of 51 different strategies, with 13 of them being profitable. We've also tested a total of 719 indicators, with 289 of them being winners. The best ones so far were able to achieve a 100% win rate. Now you need to go back and watch those videos to understand the context of how they were able to achieve that. So go back and watch those videos and see what you can get out of those winning indicators. And keep in mind that we test most of these strategies and indicators on the Forex market, but they can be applied to just about any market universally. Okay, so today's indicator is the weighted Harrel Davis Quantile Estimator with AD Oscillator. Quite a lengthy name. You can see it here on the bottom of the screen. And so basically what we have is the indicator, which has taken price action and it has condensed it into this pane below, and it has narrowed it into a numeric range. And so you can see this range of numbers right here, where basically the price action can only go, relatively speaking, so high or so low. It kind of narrows it into a range and doesn't allow it to kind of ebb and flow as well as it would up here on the normal screen. And then it has, of course, applied other mathematical equations to make it do exactly what it does, and apply those indicators accordingly. And so if we actually scroll back here, I know right here doesn't look too different, but if we actually scroll back into this area right here, you can get a better idea of the kind of restriction, the kind of overbought, oversold type zone that it creates with a price action. And so you can see here, as price action is slowly making these kind of new lows, not quite there, but kind of close. And then it comes down, kind of makes a new low right here, definitely makes a new low right here, and really makes a new low right here. You can see that on the indicator down here below, it kind of runs down into the same area, same area, same area, and then actually right here kind of sets up like almost a divergence type pattern where the price action is making a new low right here, but it actually is not going lower on the indicator right here. So that's an example of how you can see that it's narrowed it into like a numeric type range right here. And so the setup on this is relatively interesting. So really what we are looking for is, like I said, an overbought, oversold type area. And we might play around with this other ways. I'm not quite sure yet, but this is just kind of my first instinct looking at it, is to look for candles to break above the green line here, the upper line here. And then as soon as it crosses back down below that green line, we are going to go short. On the other side here, when we get the candles that break down below this lower red line here, we are then going to wait for the first candle to cross back up above that red line. Then we are going to go long. And so kind of similar to how we've tested a few other indicators, including the RSI. All right, so that was a lengthy explanation because this is an interesting indicator to say the least. Let's go ahead and get on with the testing and see what we can get out of it. All right, so the first signal that we pick up is a short signal. So here we get that break of the upper band, the upper line right there. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe we can go in, see if we can change the style at all. Yeah, there we go. Lower style. There we go. So you can see that upper green band right there, or that upper green line. And so we get a break, the candles break above that green line. And then you can see that we pick up a small red candle, kind of very similar to this one here. And then we pick up this red candle right there, which brings us back down below that green line, that upper green line right there. That would have been our signal candle right there, our entry in the beginning of this candle. Really nice push to the downside, which does come down and gets us to our take profit. Let's go ahead and continue on. All right, we then pick up a short signal right here. So we get that break to the downside of the red line this time. And we get a green candle right here, which spikes back up above that red line, back into this kind of middle center zone right there. Unfortunately, we pretty much get an immediate push back to the downside right there. That one does come down, and yep, definitely comes down and stops us out. Let's go ahead and continue on. All right, we then get that break back down below right there. And finally, we get a green candle that crosses back up above right here on that one. Very similar to this one, though. As soon as that happens, we pretty much get a push to the downside. That does come down and stop us out once again. What I'm going to do here is go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the testing. That way things don't get too long. And we'll pick this up when we are at the end of the year. All right, so that's going to put us at the end right there. Before we take a look at what this was able to achieve, now would be a good time to say that if you are interested in excelling your trading knowledge, I highly recommend that you join our Patreon only channel on our Discord server. You can find a link to our Patreon down below, as well as a link to our Discord. Once you sign up as a patron, it'll give you access to the Patreon only channel, where we post some really great advanced information about trading strategies, trading indicators, and trading philosophy in general. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you'll get access to the full list of indicators that we have tested. That comes in an Excel version and a PDF version. And you will get that full list of indicators showing exactly which indicators were winners, which ones were losers, as well as their win rates. And you'll get access to an Excel sheet of all the strategies that we have tested that shows exactly which strategies were winners, which ones were losers, as well as their win rates, and links to go back and review those individual strategies. And so there is a lot of benefits to becoming a patron of the channel, and it doesn't cost hardly anything at all. I highly recommend it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our indicator here. Everything in focus. There we go. Let's go ahead and count it out and see what we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we have 13 trades altogether, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 winning trades, and so that barely misses that 60% criteria that we are looking for, as so many indicators do. As I mentioned in the last video, a whole bunch of indicators do just right about the 50%, 55%, between 50 and 60%, right in that area. And so this one was very similar to that. And so I think the issue that this indicator had was that when you restrict something to like a specific numerical range, and so again, very similar to like the RSI. So this one's a tad bit different because it does appear that price is able to go a good deal higher than kind of a restricted range, but for the most part, it narrows it into that restricted kind of numerical value range. And so with the RSI, for example, it maxes out at, I think, 100, so a positive 100, and maxes out on the downside at a negative 100. And so it can't go any farther than that. And so you get these instances where the indicator is kind of reading at its peak value, either negative or positive or around that peak value, but the price action can continue to move in that particular direction for a good deal longer than what the indicator is allowed to account for. And so this indicator, I noticed, was doing the kind of the similar thing where you kind of get to the maxed out range above these lines, above this line, below this line is kind of that maxed out range, the extreme. But there were instances where price action was able to just keep plugging along for a very long ways, and the indicator doesn't have really any ability to account for that. And so that can be problematic sometimes. You really want your indicator to be able to kind of identify all those really far like peaks and spikes to the upside, spikes to the downside, those peaks and those valleys type deal. And so, yeah, not a horrible indicator, but not great either. And so this one is going to go on the no list, and we will move on to the next indicator from here.